Yes. This is Invisible Walls. Yep. Welcome to the first episode. This is our first episode about Invisible Walls making breakthroughs.
Yeah, a podcast all about breakthrough.
Right.
Personal growth, personal development, team growth, team development. Just talking to masters at what they do to try to find the 2 or 3 nuggets that we can apply to our individual selves.
Right. And Larry and myself come from the game development background. Mm-hmm. We've been in the industry for 10 plus years. We actually have another podcast called Game Dev Unchained.
You say it so lightly.
Well, this is the intro that we've done many times, but we have a lot of new listeners. This is our opportunity to talk to experts outside of our industry, to our interests, talking to them about what they do, and also how to bring that back into our personal life.
So if you like life hacks, if you like growth strategies, if you like efficiency plans, if you like anything that has to do with you having a better life, with you being more efficient with your time, learning about multitasking, and then take that aside, but then finding out deep dives from people who went into a specific type of job or a specific role. Like we're talking Navy SEALs and how their mindset allows them to be successful every day in life. We're talking to people who know the most about calisthenics, body improvement, dieting, nutrition, all the things that we as individuals should be learning about to make sure that we have the best life experience on this little rock we call Earth. We decided to try to pull all that information together and offer it in one place, and that place is called Invisible Walls, a podcast all about breakthrough. Brandon, you actually know today's first guest.
I know this guy.
Very personal, special friendship. What's going on here?
It's Gabe Padilla, also known as Coach Gabe.
Coach Gabe.
All right, his other pseudonym. We've been childhood friends since pretty much grade school.
Oh man.
We were born obviously the same year, same type of drive. It's a good friend of mine ever since, and it's great to kind of see him achieve excellence in everything that he does. And we've been losing touch, to be honest, for a while, but I've always kept updated with all his accomplishments. He's really huge in the world of fitness now, specifically
huge or like growth huge.
Well, in terms of like popularity, there's a lot of people he's known within the community, well respected in calisthenics. His focus is also breakdancing as well, but what he does in the daytime when he's not like doing upside down push-ups, or what do you call it, handstand push-ups, he is out there helping others do the same, staying fit, being healthy, being awesome, right? And so Gabe, do you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
All right, Gabe, welcome to the show, man.
I'm gonna switch to your face so people can see you. So oops. There we go.
What's up, dude?
How you doing, dude?
How you doing, guys?
Good to see you again, man. I was expecting you to be shirtless to like, yeah, guys, this is why you have me here, okay? Let's cut right to the chase.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Well, why don't you give us a little introduction? I tried my best, obviously. So we're going to switch to the 3-man camera real quick as Larry, so you can see what we see.
That one right there?
Here we go. Oh, you see how slick that looks. It's like we're talking to you, dude. So thanks for like taking some time. Obviously, you're at work and you went to the car for some privacy, because I just realized inside a gym you don't really have a personal office, right? Yeah. So, no. Gabe, how long we known each other? Maybe tell your side of the story. Like, did you like me growing up?
Yeah. Let's get this is me growing up, and then how that transitioned into you going into fitness, calisthenics, and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, the funniest part about it is one of the biggest reasons why me and Brandon were friends was because he was into fitness as much as I was.
Oh, nice.
He was a hardcore athlete, not knowing anything but wanted to try everything. He got super big into football, super fast at track. Then he followed his brother in doing badminton, which he still rocked at. So he still was an athlete as much as anyone else would be. Because he followed other passions, I have other passions as well, but I just followed this path. Well, when we were growing up, when we get to high school, we each had to choose completely different paths, and you were set on your path where to go. I remember seeing you and even hanging out with you when you would work on your projects and showing me for your video editing and preparing for your gaming. I remember being at your house when that would happen, but you were set to go, and I had an idea what I wanted to do, but it still took me a little bit more time. Because the way I did it, I didn't do it like normal people. I did it by actually going out there, showing my face, practicing every day, practicing 2 hours, 3 hour sessions, 2 to 3 times a day. But also, I didn't do it by myself. I had a community. I had friends that had that same kind of drive, had that same kind of passion. So that's what helped made it easier, because I didn't feel alone. I felt a part of a team. And when we went our own different paths, I know you had your own friends too. That's when I remember you would invite me over to when you would have the Art Institute video game nights. And I remember you do that, and I noticed how you were clicking with your own friends too, and how we were drifting apart, but still, no matter what, we still kept that connection.
I'm glad to hear, that you guys, even regardless of having your own kind of interests or figuring out your own paths in life, you still found a way to at least maintain some sort of friendship, regardless of, time, schedule, or interest being different. I think that's something that everyone kind of deals with. Like, if I even think about myself, the friends that I have in high school, love them to death, for more or less. But the most I get out of those relationships now is like just liking, like, oh, they had a baby, or they moved here, or they did this, they did that, because, time moves on. And I obviously have moved to California, but I think if it really came down to it, if I called any of like my best friends high school, I could still be like, hey, I'm in town, you want to get a beer? They would show up, we would eat, and we would tell great stories. So I know what you mean about those like long-term connections stretching out, but at least still maintaining the connection.
Yeah, we kind of lost Gabe real quick, but I'll fill in with a little background.
Wait for him to come back.
He was definitely my friend, my closest friend that we did pretty much everything together. Yeah. Especially before we knew how to drive. Like, we were walking everywhere, getting into trouble. And
you guys live close to each other?
We live close enough.
Okay.
I would say probably 5 to 10 minutes apart. His mom, either after school, we'd just hang out, or his mom would drive over, would spend the night. I think a lot of my gaming history was because with this guy, right? He would be the only one with the N64 at the time.
Oh man!
And all those games,
he was everybody's best friend.
Yeah, the WrestleMania games, all the Mario games. Like, I really got into it. I never owned a 64. I only had a PlayStation. But every time we hang out, we would be playing those type of games and getting used to that. And really enjoying that. GoldenEye was my first. I think probably my first introduction to first person shooters, and then it was probably after that Counter-Strike. So it was those moments that really shined for me as a gamer, and then eventually a game developer. Yeah. So a lot of those memories with this guy, and I think the reason why we clicked so well as friends is because he had the same mentality in fitness and in sportsmanship and everything. We would constantly challenge each other, and he was fast too, just not as fast. But
I was waiting for that.
But his background was in soccer, so he definitely killed me in soccer. I never grew up playing. I never knew what the rules were, but his agility and everything would cut across into other sports that I wouldn't really be interested in, and so that friendship, that mentality, made it very easy for us to kind of be good friends together, and carry that weight in terms of just having fun and all that.
Gabe, Brandon was just telling us how you were way more agile than he was.
You were definitely more agile, I think. Because you had a background in soccer, I was more about running straight.
You're the drag racer.
Yeah.
Time attack.
Yeah. So let's talk about...
You're into Kung Fu.
Say that again?
Uh-oh. He said you're into Kung Fu.
Yeah. I grew up doing martial arts. It was definitely my first sport. And before MMA was popular... I think it was mostly something kids would tease me about, to be honest, being Asian, and of course I do martial arts, right? People just assume.
I honestly, though, I would say that's the wrong person to tease, right? The Asian who actually does martial arts.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to avoid the whole time.
It was before MMA. There's a... Go ahead, Gabe.
When I was in at school, that's all what we would all of our friends would think that, like, you're picking on the wrong one out of all of us.
Yeah. I mean, there were... Go ahead.
I want to say one time, Brandon got bullied by an older kid.
Oh. Which one was this? So, you got to refresh me.
I'll remind you to tell the story.
All right, tell the story.
He was he was just trying to be a bully just for no reason because we were all having fun. And so you were being a little smart ass. You said one smart ass for Mark, like you always did. You thought he'd be big and hurt you. Kept trying to hit you, and the whole time you're just like, what? Stop, what?
Yeah.
Every single hit you blocked.
Yeah.
But then at the end you got in trouble, which was funny.
Yeah. I remember that.
Wait, why did you get in trouble in that?
I engaged in the fight, and
he was throwing punches.
I think what I said was pretty offensive. I have to say, in my memory, I did kind of tease him into it. But he did one of those things where I was probably in 6th grade. This guy was in 8th grade. All right, I think I remember this one. And we were playing basketball, right? We were actually on the sidelines of basketball. And this dude with his group of friends just gave me this look. Mm. And I said something pretty offensive because I was like, why are you looking at us? Pretty much. It's like, what? And I remember him like, he had a bunch of books that he was carrying for his class. He gave his books to his friends and started stepping up to me. I was, oh shit, it's going down. Like all these years of training, it's finally happening. But my panic mode, my reaction was just defend. Mm-hmm. So as he was throwing his punch, you know how people throw punches at those age, right?
Those untrained
wild
punches.
Swings, right? I would just be dodging it like the Matrix, right? And I was like, what's going on? What? And then he tired himself out to the point where he stopped. And it's like, yeah, that's right. I was like, what happened? So it was pure instinct. Like I didn't react in terms of like, it's about to go down. It's more like, oh shit, we're fighting now? What's going on? So it was my first fight. But I remember telling Gabe, like, I should have punched him. It's like probably my only one, and it was my only real fight since then. But it was a.
Could you imagine that display, like for the friends? Like,
oh, that was probably the first time these guys saw me in a fight.
Yeah.
And how in control I was.
I love how 80s that sounds like. He gave his books.
Yeah. I remember that part. Yeah, he had like a whole intro. It was like as if a video game in Street Fighter. It was like a
that's
whole...
a story straight out of Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mess you up, man. Hold my books.
I know. And I remember
he's got lackeys.
Yeah. Like I reacted way past the fact. Sure. Like I didn't collect everything until it happened, right? And then I think one of my friends was like, hey, you should go tell the principal or whatever what happened because that was not cool. That guy started attacking you. I was like, really? I don't care. Yeah. But then eventually I went up to him and was like, yeah, this guy just started a fight with me. He's like, are you hurt? And he's like, no, I'm not hurt. You know, it was kind of happening really fast. He's like, all right, I mean.
Well, so you're suspended.
Yeah.
Where did that link happen?
I think there was some kind of detention thing after, but the other guy too got somewhat in trouble because he said I provoked him. Right?
But you did.
I offensively used words. All right? He could have talked back, right? And that would have been a conversation.
It's probably a lot harder to explain. He gave me a look.
You gave me a look? Dude.
At that time, though, principals and guidance counselors, they didn't understand the social dynamics of like fight culture.
Yeah.
When someone says he gave me a look, that meant he wanted to harm me. I know what that means. Obviously, Gabe knows what that means.
Look at this face.
Those like 1990s use your words, walk away guidance counselors. They don't know what it means when someone says they gave me a look.
Yeah, it's one of those things during school now that I have an 8-year-old and I'm like looking at him. It's like, I don't think that's the way the world works, you know? You got to be able to stand up against bullying instead of kind of having to retreat and hope that things will be different the next day. I hope that's
hoping and bullying doesn't work.
Yes, and I feel like that's the message with a lot of the schools now. It's like retreat, tell a teacher, sure. All right. But the social dynamic, like you were saying, changes. Yeah. Because the next day you're coming to school as a bitch, and you're just inviting more bullying, right? It's like I don't think.
Well,
they sometimes call it like toxic masculinity, right?
It's the thing is, and I'll say this, we can end and kind of pull back on Gabe's experience. For me, it's you have to understand like there's real world scenarios that actually occur in a small scale in a school environment because it's a social structure. Yeah. You still have bullies. You still have people who are at the time considered weak or prey. Yeah. And then you have like the middle of the row, like people who just kind of have found their way to blend in by not standing out, but also by not really going against any sort of grain that occurs, right? They let the bullying happen to someone else, or they'll whip out their phone cameras because it's safer for them to be audience than to be an action taker and try to help prevent, because then that draws attention to themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of guidance counselors and teachers are setting up these structures that don't recognize the fact that that social structure is what exists in the real world as well.
Right.
Like when somebody at the bar is like, hey man, oh shit.
Shit.
Someone at the bar, you know what I mean? Just
Felt like I
start
was
shit
there. Okay.
for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Where's your guidance counselor then?
Exactly.
Where's your,
You gotta tell the bartender,
sure,
like,
call the
this
cops.
dude.
You got 15 minutes
Yeah.
to figure out how to not die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I applaud my own life experience and Brandon's life experience for preparing me for tough situations in real life and giving me confidence and spirit to be able to deal with or handle specifically bullying scenarios and situations like that. It is 2019, and I'm not sitting here advocating for bullying. Like, I don't agree that it's the right thing that people should go through. I'm simply acknowledging that there is a direct relationship between the experiences that I had, good or bad, in the social structure of a school environment that also seem to continue to happen, good or bad, in the adult social structure. And so I personally just understand it, like having gone through both, like being somebody who protects people, but also somebody who had gotten picked on in his life. Those lessons and like that experience actually like plays out in real life now, you know, like how I treat people, how I deal with people, how I anticipate danger, how I know when to step in to try to prevent somebody from getting their ass kicked or not, you know, all of that really is life experience that came by way of the youth experience that I had. It's why lion cubs play and wrestle. You don't see the male lion or the mom lion like, no, kids, don't play and wrestle. Because they're like, no, this is survival skills. You need to learn how to put the other lion on his back. You need to learn how to sink your teeth in, go for the neck. You need to learn, you're not actually doing it to your brother, the other cub. You're not actually doing it to your sister, the other cub. But you're going through those motions because those same strategies still work when you're a full-grown adult fighting for the pride. You know what I mean? I can't use my words when the burglar busts in my house and is like talking about, give me all your money, give me this, give me that. There are times where you will have to defend yourself. Sure, call the police. Do everything you're supposed to do that society has set up to defend you. But every now and then, some people are put up against situations where they actually have to go back to primal structures and say, I have to hit you harder than you hit me to get out of this situation. Or I have to outrun you and tire you out to get out of this situation. Or I have to call for help to get out of the situation. There is no like, hey, use your words. I haven't met a negotiator yet who has like talked themselves out of an ass kicking when it was one-on-one and no one else was around. I just haven't met them yet. I've seen plenty of people who are incredibly confident in their fighting skills use their words to diffuse the situation as much as possible. And then the other person unknowingly throws a strike, and that's when the other person like bloop, 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 counter, you're on the ground. Yeah. Like Matt Serra at the restaurant where he's like, calm down. You don't want to, like that guy did not know he was dealing with UFC champion Matt Serra. Yeah. And Matt Serra didn't show that side of himself immediately. He diffused the situation with words as much as he could, engaged with violence, and then it was over. He always had restraint because he had the upper hand. Right. He knew how to defend himself.
How about you, Gabe?
So let's talk about breakthroughs, man.
Breakthroughs. Well, like we traded kind of like hit Larry's global perspective about bullying and fights, and I traded a personal story. Well, you started the personal story, all right? So what's your personal story with having to fight for yourselves? It doesn't have to be physically. Metaphorically. Have you been in a fight before? Have you ever have to like really? I'm sure you have to step up in some situation before, right? No,
dude,
this guy's been skating through life.
He's like, people have seen my workout videos.
Go ahead.
People, when I was in high school, people would always try to bully, and I never cared. You know, they didn't matter to me. There was one kid, I remember who he is. I remember his name. When I first moved over there, this is when we first became friends. He was a bully to me, trying to be a bully to me, and I really did not give a shit about what he thought. I was going to do what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And then once we got out of elementary school and we went to the same high school eventually, he was cool with me. Like nothing was wrong at all. He was like super friendly and everything because no matter what, he was friends with everyone else and I was cool with everyone else. So he just got over it. He just had temper tantrums. And most other situations, I just really don't care. Yeah. And I've never been approached in situations like that to where I had to. It's just always people think that they're big and bad. They try to see, like Larry was saying, are you going to be a weakling, or are you middle class like a step, or are you going to do more than that? You know, And some people want you to do more than that because for two reasons. It gives them a chance to interact with you thinking they can beat you. And second reason, it gets you to interact to where you're the one doing the first attempt, where it's more of a chance of them getting in trouble and they can defend themselves, especially if they have friends. So it's a trap.
Well, here's a good question for you. So we've got the bullying stuff kind of underway, and I think people got some nuggets there. But Gabe, you went on a life journey. You said you didn't discover it right away, but then you went out there and you you made your place by getting involved, by being active, by putting your face out there in the fitness and calisthenics community. Can you talk to us about how the job part of that started for you? And then let's get into exploring like the things that people listening to this podcast can do can start to better themselves physically, both in mindset and maybe also in body.
Okay.
Yeah, as you do that, As you do that, I'm going to show some highlights, so don't get freaked out.
So we're going to cover your screen with glorious calisthenic videos with no sound. 1 second.
1 second, guys.
Just hit the mute on, there you go. And I will describe, okay, so to everyone who's listening to this in podcast form, I'm watching Gabe do like 50 somersaults and flips, completely ripped. I think he put baby oil on for dramatic effect, but he's doing some incredible, oh wow, this is like not just breakdancing acrobatic, but calisthenic displays of just human strength and raw power. So this is really good stuff. We'll make sure that you guys can get actual links to the videos in the show notes, so you'll be able to see what we're talking about.
You'll see the YouTube version. So go ahead, Gabe. I'm just going to show some of this to show your abs in glory while you talk us through. What was your question before that?
So how fitness started for him?
This is how pretty much it all started with this one group right here. Because it was like pretty much like a trickle-down theory, how everything just domino effect all the way to everything. It started off with that person right there, one of my close friends recently with my fitness community, one of my best friends. He pretty much we were doing this all for fun. This is the community of friends that I was telling about, that same interest. All they wanted to do was just have fun, play, and just enjoy being able to do what we can do without any restrictions.
Jesus,
being out there and doing our thing pretty much. Well, when he did that, he got noticed by a world-class performing group in Venice Beach. And they taught him the tricks on how to put on a show and stuff like that. But he didn't want that. Dude, David Webster,
oh my God.
We started doing all the street shows. And then from there, we started a YouTube channel. The channel was Strength Project. And from the Strength Project, we had a lot of international notification. We got on YouTube videos, so we got really ranked one of the top 3 fitness channels of like 2015, I think, 16.
Oh wow, congrats!
And so we got super popular we met people from all around the world, and with calisthenics before it started getting popular, my buddies started doing the same thing. So then that's how I connected with them, and then I started learning their tricks. But with them was all balance and control and things on the bar. But I had breakdancing background because that was one of my interests. So I tried to mix their style with breakdancing. So pretty much no matter what, me and my friend kept playing and playing and playing, and I learning and learning and learning. But up to the point I got obsessed with learning with strength, body strength, being able to do something completely normal than normal people. And I'm not that big. I'm not that tall. But compared to my strength of most people, I'm extremely, extremely strong. And so I try to display it in a way that I feel that should be shown. Dude. But also having fun with it too. And
let's give it a second.
Just so you know, Gabe,
going with these things.
Well, 1 second, man.
These videos are why you don't get picked on. Nobody's going to see this.
You know how hard it is to hold your body weight with one fucking arm, dude? Yeah. Like, I need to, before we go any further with this, right? This is Gabe at his prime, right? But, Gabe, you are a father yourself. You went through your dad bod phase, right? Because a lot of our listeners out there are probably not at the stage where you're currently at. They were probably at the stage before this. So do you mind kind of talking about that a little bit before we go back to washing your abs? Because I've gone through that phase too, right? I'll start us off, right? I went through a dad bod phase. It's real. Like after your first
I feel
son,
like I'm in my dad bod phase.
yeah, but like
So
when you
help me
have
get
your
out.
first kid, I think for any guy, you're probably at your biggest, right? And because all the sleepless nights, you're fostering this new kid into the world, you're taking care of your wife recovering. So fitness and taking care of yourself is the last thing you think about, because this whole new stress is suddenly taken over, right? And so for me, I completely just forfeited that lifestyle for a good, I feel like, a year. And up to that point, I never really skipped out on my health. And for me, I think every week goes by, I felt like, oh, it's not too bad. I'm not too bad. I still got it. Until I looked a year after in comparison photo, I was like, holy shit, I got fat.
Facebook memories dropped.
Facebook memories, yeah. So I don't know how it was for you. Do you mind kind of going through that personal journey for yourself?
Well, I want to go on two cases because going through that dad body phase, I really didn't go through that much of a big overweight phase, because I still was able to do all my tricks. I can still do my handstand push-ups, no big deal, anytime, any day. My worst phase was before I got into shape. And that was really because I wasn't eating properly. I was eating what I want. I wasn't eating what my body needed. I wasn't paying attention to my body. I still worked out all the time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ripped, you know? I had to learn other things to get me to that point. So my worst was before I was ripped. Afterwards, I'm still strong. I can still do probably 90% of the moves I did before. I get tired a little faster. My endurance isn't as good. That's really the only weakest thing that I have.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, when you have a tradition of being athletic, there's a lot of people that, I go to the gym all the time. That doesn't mean anything. It means, what are you doing? And how are you doing it? You know? And that's just one part, and that's just the easy part. The hard part is actually in the kitchen, is having the routine, what to eat, having the right amount of water you're having in the amount of day, having a good amount of protein before and after, having a good amount of potassium to keep your muscles stabilized so you're not stressing and cramping, you know, having a good amount of antioxidants so you can establish not getting sick if you're in certain weather climate, or even certain diseases seasons, you know, going around. You want to keep yourself going, because when you take that time off, it catches up with you. And it sets you back. And sometimes that setback is what kicks people off the horse. And when you fall off the horse, then you give up. And it's the point of not giving up. And some people have such a small drive to where they need more than that. And really, they have to keep pushing. But that's why I keep saying, no matter what, I have fun. Because if you turn, no one wants to work. You get overworking. But when you have fun, everyone wants to have fun. So if you keep having fun, you will be playing until you're these 90-year-old guys you see on Instagram that are in China, that are in Germany. You know, they're doing it for a reason, because they did better choices for themselves internally and externally and mentally, so that they can keep establishing it long term. And that's really one of my future goals that I've learned about this whole entire fitness career, is it doesn't matter what you can do now. It doesn't matter what you can do last year. It matters what you can do 10 years, 20 years from now, because you want to be able to do what you're doing today then, and not think it was a dream or a fantasy. You want to be like I said, I'm going to be able to do handstand push-ups until I can't use my hands.
So in regards to what you guys do with the Strength Project, and then you personally, it seems like you rely heavily on just like calisthenic exercises, body weight exercises, like stuff you can essentially almost do anywhere. No disrespect to the gym that you're part of or anything like that. I guess, where does traditional weightlifting fit into your own routines or into your own life goals? I guess, do you use traditional weights, or like, do you hit the bench? Do you do rows and pull downs and curls and all the Arnold Schwarzenegger type exercises? Is that a different mindset than what you have? Or I guess, what's just your general opinion on using traditional bodybuilding and weightlifting?
Well, yeah, that's pretty funny, because a lot of people get very closed-minded and only do one type of aspect and only branch out a little bit. But there's a reason why Arnold was great. There's a reason why Bruce Lee was great. There's a reason why all these greats were great. So why not learn from the greats? You have enough time in your life to put a year training like this person, training like that person, training like that. You know, you can always do that. So I did go do that. I did learn different aspects of lifting through Arnold Schwarzenegger, different types of presses, different types of positionings, you know, everything that he did. So I would establish things that I thought I would need for my workouts. But also, like I said, I love the feeling of strength. I love the feeling of pushing something. I love the feeling of being able to do something completely intense for it. So I would get caught up with that feeling lots of times too. And then I just learned different things, and then, you know, you get inspiration also from people of your era. And luckily, one of the people that inspired me was one of my friends. You know, I started off doing all this type of things, performing like that with my friends, so I wanted to keep up with my friends. At the time being, I became a father, and I moved away for 4 years. So I was alone. And my only way to keep in touch with my friends was through YouTube, because my friend started a YouTube channel. He started a strength project. So I thought the only way I can keep up with my friends, because I'm not staying here forever, was to practice. So I kept practicing different things on my own. But I pushed harder to where when I got back, I was actually stronger in a lot of things than anticipating. But because I kept pushing, because I thought I was going to be left behind. And just from there, they made connections with YouTube being successful as it was. More people started connecting with them, different things, and then I connected with them as the same way. And then just kept pushing and pushing and learning from other people and like getting different ideas, and just opportunities opened up. And instead of me just wondering what if, I said, oh, just why not? Meaning because I also competed in calisthenics in the first world competition calisthenics, team calisthenics. Nice. And we got third place.
Wow, nice.
So that was a lot of fun, but it was also one of those things too. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, let's just pick you, because it's a world competition, and they were new to it, so they were more like enter your submission. So a lot of this stuff, all these videos, all these moves, it's all research. You know, you research what you eat, research what you need to eat, research what you need to take care of yourself, you research what you need to take away the pain, you research what you need to do this move, this, that. There's always research, especially with today's knowledge and with today's phones and computers. You can literally have everything you need to know at the palm of your hand. So why not take advantage of that? And that's what I did as well. And with that opportunity, I saw the opportunity to submit a video to compete in a world competition. I asked the right guys, we all did it, and it was a lot of fun. But like I said, it was fun. And one of the main focuses is having fun, because once you stop having fun, you start working, fun is gone, and then you start losing that passion, you lose that drive, you lose that want. And that has always gotten me where I needed and wanted to be, was to keep wanting for it and driving for it and finding a way to do it.
Dude, you could work for WWE, man. They need people like you. Watching these videos, there was a huge opportunity for you there. If you already like doing this kind of punishing exercising, you know, just do that same flip but land on another guy and win a belt. You know what I mean? This is incredible. Yeah. All right, so I gotta ask about, you know, some of the extreme moves that you do. If, let's say, someone is inspired to like start a path or a journey similar to yours, and they want to start doing some of the extreme moves, you know, I don't know explicitly like what to call exactly, like the power moves or the showcase of the different types of exercises that you do.
Yeah, what's the first beginner move that impresses?
Like, this
like
is the one you should
public?
work to, right? Like, is it the vertical
the
push-up?
muscle ups?
Is it a muscle up? I guess what's the safest one to actually train and try out to build up, to then be like your gateway to doing the rest of this awesome stuff that you're into?
That's really a trick question, because with calisthenics, no matter what, when it comes to working out, it's pushing and pulling. You're either a fan of pushing or a fan of pulling. And mine has always been pushing, because what I thought was I wanted to be able to do my stuff anywhere, anytime. The pulling, I can't do it unless I have something proper to pull. So that's why I was able to do my things anywhere, because I wanted to be able to not be restricted. But some people are addicted to pulling, so they're okay with that restriction. So it really matters on what you want to work on. Because really, for me, to kind of answer that question, there is no move
Okay.
There's really a focus on body parts. So I would recommend focusing on your core.
Okay.
That's why my core is because the stronger your core is, no matter what kind of sport you're in, if it's recreational, if it's extreme, if it's circus, no matter what it is, the stronger your core is, the more agile and more adaptable you are to that sport.
Okay.
Moves will come easier, twist better, you will turn better, you will control your body better because of it. That is one of my biggest recommendations is core. But I would always train core almost every single day. But because I would do it differently as sections, because we have more than one section of abs. We have lower, upper, obliques, and back.
Okay.
If you mix that up properly, you can do your abs almost every single day. And if you have a strong core, you know, it's harder to break a base if the trunk is weak.
So then let me ask this then, just because I'm looking for like nuggets to like give to the audience, like, okay, go do this, at least get started. Because I know that they'll build consistency if they can get over the get started hump. What are your 3 favorite ways to train core that you feel like have been most effective? Like if you were to do a top 3 off the top of your head.
I'd probably say my top 3. One is ab roller.
Mm-hmm.
Second is hanging leg lifts. But usually a lot of people can't do that. Different variations of the hanging leg lifts. It's toes to bar. If you can't do toes to bar, then it's knees to elbows. If you can't do knees to elbows, and then it's knees to chest.
Oh, check.
And
Toes to bar. So from my hands hanging, toes down all the way up like that.
Yeah. What's the other one? Toes to elbow
knees
is the
chest,
halfway,
or knees to elbow.
Okay, so
I
those
think
are
knees
the
to elbow is halfway.
those are the wimp versions. Okay.
You're gonna call your audience wimps? Like you want their support, dude?
Hey man, you got to know toe to bar. It doesn't count. That's why I'm not Coach Gabe, man. I'm more like the military bully.
Oh, but you have it there. Those are actually great ways to get started. So I'm gonna buy my ab roller so I can start working on my dad bod. I was asking that for me and anyone in the audience who was scared to raise their hand. I'll take the bullet for you guys. So you heard it first. Ab roller is one of Gabe's favorite ways.
How many
hanging leg raises, toes to bar?
Toes to bars I can actually do. How many reps and sets do you have to do for everyday workout to build up?
What I've always thought was a great number, because everyone has their own numbers, what to hit there and there, here and there. So if you're going to do the hanging toe touches, and if you can't bring those feet up every single time, instead of half-assing that move, that's when you go down to the lower one and you bring those knees to your elbows, to where you're still accomplishing, picking up your lower body, crunching your lower abs, because that's really that main focus is, you know, you're still working out compared to not doing the full workout. It doesn't matter if you're doing the best workout. It matters on how efficient you do it. And, of course, the slower you do it, the harder, but the better, too. So that's another action. You don't want to drop. You want to control yourself going up and control yourself going down every time.
That's one of the biggest mistakes I actually see people doing in weightlifting as well, is like they'll get so set on the 12 that they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're exploding and then completely disengaging, and then exploding and then completely disengaging, versus controlling 100% of the time, keeping time on, or keeping time under tension at maximum, right? They're having it by exploding and then completely disengaging. Plus you risk injury. Like if you're letting that thing come down without control, and then you think you're just all of a sudden at the bottom going to push through again, you might snap something, you might pull something, you might hurt something. Controlling it the whole way through minimizes injury more than it does. I mean, like more than the other option, which is to explode, disengage. I hate when I see people doing their reps like that. I get so worried. But then I also know, hey, the bench press is about to be free.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be off of it pretty quick. So we're doing some more man gazing over here, checking out these awesome workout videos. And you guys, this is based out of Huntington Beach. Are you guys have any events coming up anytime soon that we can go see, or mainly just follow the YouTube channel still? I guess, what's the best way to get involved with you specifically, or the Strength Project, or even people on your team?
Well, now with me, I'm actually part of another team as well, because like I said, with Strength Project, it has expanded so much to many different people. And one of the people that I expanded is the gym I work at now.
Okay.
So I am engaged with that now with Strength Project, because basically, you know, when life comes and goes, everyone goes, you know, different paths here and there. As long as they keep their passions, they stay connected, and that's pretty much what happened. Strength Project a little bit, you know, everyone's doing their own thing, but we're still coming back, planning to put on, hopefully a team so we can perform again this summer.
Okay.
But if not, more engagement with the gym, because we are actually expanding to opening 2 more gyms. So I'm taking part of that because I also got promoted to manager of the gym, so I'm helping it grow as well. And just a lot of other future things I'm also planning ahead of time, but just focusing one thing at a time, so then more opportunities can open up for myself and other people.
All right, Gabe, I got a question for you from the Twitch audience. This is from Dane Thane. He asks, what would you recommend for wrist health? I see a lot of pressure on the wrists in these videos. So how do you take care of your wrists and make sure that they stay strong and support some of these extreme body positions?
That's actually a really, really good question, because I'm luckily being part of the calisthenics community. I found a group that took part in that, because in the calisthenics community, they handstands, a lot of benches, a lot of wrists. So she came up with a method of coming up with this product called Strength Wraps. It's basically a CrossFit wrap. It's the reason why I like them, because it doesn't involve Velcro. All these Velcro wrap supporters are all bullshit, because once that Velcro is done, that wrap is done. There's no way to keep it established the way you want to. With these strength wraps, they are wrapped a certain way, and you are tied a certain way with no other devices, and that's it. You get self-tightening and self-loosening without readjusting. Okay. So I love them, and I've actually had my first pair for over 5-6 years. And if you see in all my videos, every single video I'm in, they're wrapped, and they're wrapped with strength wraps, because they have saved my wrist many, many days, many, many times, because I am always on my hands doing lots of different things on my wrist. So I promote those to every single person, because I wouldn't be able to do what I would be doing without those things. Guaranteed.
All right, so I have a quick nutrition question for you. Since you've obviously been at or around 6 or 5% body fat in your ripped days, I guess what are the maybe 2 or 3 biggest foods that attack your midsection that you would say, if you want to be ripped like me, get this shit out of your diet today, like bury it deep underground and never go back? Are there any foods that you excluded during that period of time, or were you just burning so many calories that you were like Michael Phelps, like, oh, you eat McDonald's twice a day, I don't give a shit? CT Fletcher, baby.
Yeah. I believe there's no point in diets. Okay. It's the point of being smarter, making smarter choices, listening to your body. So, of course, I would learn proper things to eat here and there. I would try it, see how it tastes, and enjoy certain things that I knew my body needed, you know. So, meaning I need more fiber, so I would have chia seeds. I either have chia seeds in a smoothie or add chia seeds to my oatmeal. But I got in the habit of, no matter what, of focusing on was my breakfast. But I would eat a huge breakfast. I would eat around 6 to 9 eggs, a thing of oatmeal, banana, orange, a glass of orange juice, and a half a bottle of kefir, yogurt. And I would eat that almost every day to keep me, for multiple things, getting the nutrients that I needed. Oh, and I would make a smoothie on top of that. I forgot about that. I would keep all the nutrients that I needed, but also as fast digesting nutrients, where the eggs were protein that I needed from working out the day before, and it's slow digesting as well as the oatmeal. So I would try to balance it out between knowing what to eat at the right time and knowing what I needed at the right time as well. So like I said, you gotta know your research, you gotta know your information, and then day I'm already starting to burn off calories. So I would try to focus more on one thing, is protein. Protein after my workouts. Before, I was focused on carbs, fruits, smoothies, something, even bread, something that would get me going because I would burn it off. Protein afterwards is my main source. Not much on the eggs, because I would have the eggs in the morning, so I wouldn't burn myself on the eggs. I would focus on chicken, especially beef, of course, and I focus on broccoli. I would try to eat as much broccoli as I can, because if you have a good amount of protein source, not just from one source, you get multiple kinds, your body digests it differently. So you'll absorb it differently. You absorb it at different times. You absorb more than what you should, but most of the time, most people don't get even close to what they need. And I learned by paying attention to my body, by eating the right amount of protein, I wouldn't be sore. I would be able to work out and still work out again the morning time after an intense workout at night because I had protein. I had a right amount of protein. And then I would test out those theories by decreasing certain amounts or eating certain things otherwise, and then seeing how my body reacted. So that's where I say you have to listen to your body and you have to do your research. Sometimes you may have to experiment on yourself because your body is not the same as anyone.
Yeah.
So those are all just opinions you're hearing from every single person. And luckily, most opinions are common. So you never know how your body is. So you have to try things and experiment. But no matter what, you have to always keep educating yourself. Because the reason why I kept educating myself, because my biggest thing was, okay, I'm going to learn this stuff. But if I saw my friends suffering, why can't I not help them? Why can't I help someone that looks like they need help? It's not going to hurt me if I tell them something that might help them. It's not going to hurt me if I show them this that will help benefit them. So that's what I live by and try doing that. And as well, when you do that, people do the same with you, and then you learn more. So, you know, it's always good to be a very, very open-minded person, but also a well-knowledge person in what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you can easily hurt yourself or hurt someone else because they may be more gullible than you. You know, you always want to be sure what you're doing because this is your body and you only get one.
Well, to follow up on that question to the people that don't know what they're doing. So let's say beginner stage of wanting to get into calisthenics, and I don't want to go to the gym yet because it's either out of my range, obviously, or I don't want to get embarrassed because as a beginner, that's probably, like, you know, you don't know what you're doing in there and everyone's watching, or you feel like everyone's watching. No one's watching, to be honest. But like, I want to get into working out at home. What are the main 3 to 5 exercises and routine that you recommend to these people out there who are interested into getting started?
For the basic, just on getting started, foundation of everything. Basically, if you don't have any equipment at home, you got to adapt. If you can't adapt, you still have no clue. Like I said, you got the biggest informational thing in your hand. Look up home workouts. See what people have done in their homes too, with the stuff that they don't have, that's not even related to the gym. Otherwise, I recommend going to a park, because honestly, one of the biggest things why I did this was because I did all this was because I did not have the funds to go to a gym. I did not have the money to pay monthly for that stuff, but it wasn't going to stop me. So I taught myself and learned things to do so that not having money wasn't going to hold me back. Not being able to do it in a building wasn't going to hold me back, because I didn't need that equipment. I didn't need that building. I just needed to know what to do and find a spot to do that. And that's what I did. And that's what I recommend for anyone. But if you have no clue where to go, I recommend you go to one place everyone should go: a playground. Because the playground, with the playground, there's multiple things to do. They're meant for the kids to be agile, being able to move. Same thing goes for adults, except you may have to try harder or you may have to try more, because it can be very boring. But like I said, if you're scared of going to a gym, or if you don't know or have the resources around, you have to adapt. And if you want it bad enough, you got to make an effort.
Yeah, I think as a male,
it's my turn.
I think as a male, you got to keep the shirt on for that session, right? You can't be. Yeah. Which were the 5 workouts?
For the 5 workouts, I recommend. Like I said, there are so many different types of workouts, and with today's things, there's so many different ways of doing everything. So take what I'm saying as like a key note, meaning you put that word into a search bar, you will have multiple things coming out. Squats. Okay, squats is an amazing thing for your body. It helps boost your natural testosterone. It works on your lower body, your glutes, pressing. But also, there's many different ways of doing squats. You can do squats sumo. You can do them explosion. You can do sumos. You can do squats jumping on top of an object. You can do sumos jump squats. But all that does different things for you. So doing your research on those will help you knowing and aiming what you want to get at too. Squats for sure. Involving course push-ups. You always got to have a pushing game, but looking them up because there's many different ones. Because doing 1,000 push-ups, doing 1,000 squats, doing 1,000 pull-ups, it gets boring. So when you have different things to adapt with, you're playing around and you won't get bored. You won't get bored. You won't stop. You'll keep going to where it gets easier, and then you can do more. When you can do more, then that's when it gets addicting and you don't want to stop. As I was saying too, pull-ups. Always got to have a push game, always got to have a pull game. Therefore, you have the lower body, you have the push, pull, and now we got to involve core. Is one of the most important ones. For the core, I'd probably say, like for most people, the hanging one, either knees tucked, knees to elbows, feet to bar. Those are the most common ones. I recommend those ones for sure. And then for the back, I would recommend, because that one's kind of tricky, because if you're doing rows, you got to have a proper lower level to grab, lower bar or something to grab, and that's something really fine. If you're doing rows with using weight, you got to have the weight to pull. If you don't have the weight to pull, then it's pretty much obsolete. With that one, I recommend, this is a full body workout, which will do your legs, your back, your core, and your arms. And they're called monkey crawls, okay? They're very, very funny because of the name. But really, when you do them, it kicks your ass big time. So I do them all the time as a workout because they are a great endurance builder. Really, pretty much you're on all fours. You're not on your knees because these aren't baby crawls. If you're going to do baby crawls, you're going to damage your knees, and then you really won't be able to do anything. You're going to be on your feet. And what you do, you're going to walk isolations going one arm and then opposite foot. And then reverse. Arm, foot. Same time. Once you get the hang of doing the opposites, then you go faster. So you do laps of it. You do laps around the sandbox. You do laps around a little hill. Just try it. And then you'll see how much it kicks your butt. But pretty much what it is, you're leaning on your upper body. You're taking your core to establish yourself from not falling over. You're engaging your back as well to balance as well with your core from not falling over. You're doing mountain climbers while climbing on the ground. So it's a full body establishment. So that's another full core workout, which will help as well as everything else. Those are the 5 workouts I recommend for sure.
Dude,
right.
that's
Seriously.
solid, dude.
And do you guys look for new members in your gym currently? Like, is it like a total beginner type gym, or is it a team fitness gym? Because if I say like, hey, everyone listening to this podcast, go check out, this workout place, I would hate to bombard you with a bunch of January 1sters if you guys aren't ready to receive that. So can you tell us a little about that gym, and then we'll try to get you some publicity?
I came a part of this one gym mainly because I loved how the gym was, and I saw something part of it that I wanted to add to it. Because I took part of being active in fitness since I was 8 years old. And while doing that, I always helped people. I always gave people advice. That's how even outside the gym, people still call me coach. People call me coach in the calisthenics community, and I've never been a coach in that community. Just I've always been helpful and knowledgeable to help someone to get to a certain point to where that's what I've earned. And I've done that all the way. Even when I first came to the gym, I offered to run their strength and conditioning program, which I did. And once I did, I never left. I had been part of their gym for 5 years now.
Congrats.
And we're establishing two more gyms. But like you were saying, limitations to first beginners. And the funny part is we do not at all, because we start at the age of 4. So we go from 4-year-olds all the way up to, I think our oldest is 66.
See, there, you're going to work out with some 4-year-olds.
Hey, as long as they know what they're doing.
We basically establish everything on teaching movement, being safe, being observant of their, like I was saying, for longevity. Because a lot of the people that work at the gym are either students that became coaches because they saw the passion and how much they love the gym. They want to be part of it. And others are actual professional athletes Some of them work at Cirque du Soleil. Some of them work at the Pirates of the Caribbean. Some work at Disneyland. And they're all professional athletes. But to where, you know, doing all those gigs, it can only go so much all the time. So a lot of them work at the gym because it's more than just a job. And you can tell by the way they are with everyone there. And that's what I've learned from it. So it's really an amazing place. It's not just parkour because it's grown so much to where it's more just, we have wall trampoline ones that you see like at Knott's Berry Farm where people run up the wall and do tricks. We teach that one. We teach aerial silks. We teach regular gymnastics tumbling, not competitive tumbling, just regular gymnastics. We teach tricking. Tricking is a mixture of acrobatics and martial art kicks, but turning into a performing standpoint and not a contact standpoint. We teach breakdancing as well. And we also partake in a world-class parkour competition, which is connected with several different gyms, as well as gyms from Canada. And, you know, it's established and grown in many, many, many ways to where I can still help people grow and help people get to where they want to be, but not just adults. You know, it's helping people where it matters, and it matters with the kids. I try to live the saying I heard, and the best saying in the world is be the type of person you needed when you were growing up. And I am trying to be that for the kids that I come to the gym in many, many ways, because to them, that is their only community. That's their only life. There's kids in there that are going through such personal things to where they have nowhere else to go, and they run to us. They run to the coaches there to where they feel safe. They feel, you know, wanted. They feel, you know, part of something and not feeling like an outcast. Because no matter what, we are all weird. We all act weird. If you don't act with you, and with kids are the weirdest weirdos in the world. And to them to not be able to be weird and have that free will, it's not right. So with our gym, they're able to express themselves, and I've seen that happen in many kids to where they have done a full turnaround, and it's really one of the amazing things that I am taking part of in that gym, and I'm glad I'm able to get back. And I just want to help it grow more, because more people deserve it, you know. More kids deserve it, because we don't have the role models nowadays like we used to have when we were all younger. You know, like there's too many distractions, too many wrong things to watch, and so if it has to be done another way, it has to be done another way. And so I'm glad I'm able to take part in that. But anyone can come, anyone can learn, anyone can come and play. We offer playtime to where you can just come and play, you know. So anyone's willing to come, see, take part, learn. It's, you know, it's all a welcoming community. The only thing that we want is people to try and not give up, because you never know where that will take you.
Well, my last question for you then is, what's the name of the gym and what city is it located in, so that we can send some people over there to come see you?
The gym is called Firestorm Free Running and Acrobatics. It is in Santa Ana, California. Right now, we are just opened our second facility in Moreno Valley.
Nice.
That is an amazing gym. You can check us out on Instagram. It has pictures of everything we do in the gym, videos of all our classes, the students, the competitions, all the events that we have, the new gym. And currently right now we are building our third gym in Westminster, California, close to the 405 freeway in Westminster Mall. But that one probably won't be ready till the ending of this year. Okay. But that's the one I'm going to try. That's why I'm telling you exactly where it's at, because that's the one I'm going to. Oh, nice. But it's amazing place to see, amazing people to meet, amazing kids to watch. It's just somewhere to where you don't have to like drive all your way to Hollywood and deal with all that. You know, it's actually something greater than anticipating. But you have to try. You know, if you don't try, that's what's going to hold you back. All right. And it goes for anyone, any age.
Well, Gabe, I mean, Coach Gabe, this has been an honor and a pleasure to have you as the first guest on Invisible Walls, a podcast all about breakthrough. And I have one tradition that I wanted to start here, which was we want to grab a selfie with every person that we bring on. And since we've got you here behind us, I'm just going to go ahead and put this in selfie mode and let Brandon kind of close things up for us while I get ready.
All right, so this is the first episode of Visible Walls. Thanks again, Gabe. We are actually in North Sea now, so we should hang out like old times. Let's do this.
Before we go, I want to say one more story before we go.
Oh, please.
Great.
I'm pretty sure this is about Brandon, so let me just relax. Let me get comfortable.
Which story is this?
Yeah. Brandon, do you remember when PlayStation 2 came out?
Oh, yeah. My favorite story. Larry knows this one.
It's a good one. I love hearing it.
Or you tell your side. You tell your side, because I think some people have heard my side. Yeah, go for it.
What year did that come out? What year was that? I don't even remember.
It must be
2004,
whatever, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But pretty much, PlayStation 2 was the hottest thing. It was coming out. Okay, and I wasn't planning on getting it. I didn't have the money. I didn't, it wasn't by my mind. Brandon calls me up like, hey, you want to go wait in line and get a PlayStation 2? And I was like, you know what? And he's like, Alex is going, blah, blah's going, blah, blah's going, blah, blah's going. Hey, let's go. I don't have the money. Let's go. I'll get one. So we go. Waiting, trying to find the area. You already scoped it out. I think you and Andrew scoped it out, and you guys were all talking about what to do, had a plan. And then we see a big line. You do your research. Come up to us. No one said that's where the line's supposed to start. They started that line by themselves.
Yeah.
So they won't say anything. Start our line over here. So literally, he found a couple people. We started another line across the street from them. Yeah. So no one knew where the beginning of the line was to go.
Yeah.
Once they realized that, everyone started mobbing up.
Dude.
Everyone started mobbing up.
Yeah.
This was around the mall.
Yeah.
What mall was that, Brad?
It was the South Coast Mall. It was a Sony store at South Coast, yeah.
No one was allowed to be on the mall property. So everyone had to wait on the street sidewalk around the whole entire mall.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all waiting at the end. We had a plan to where I think it was me and Brandon were standing, waiting, and then someone else had to go get the car parked right down the street. Right when the time comes, we were going to swoop you up and drive in.
Yeah.
When we did that, literally, it rang. It looked like a giant mob. You saw everyone just running.
Right. People think I exaggerate, but it started with that one line with 20 people, right? And then we formed our own line with our group.
It started off with.
There must have been over 200-300 people, right? Right? And I described to everybody like it was like a Call of Duty. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on our end alone because we gave up because we were driving and we see the other end of the mall, cars,
Everybody
and then
had the
people
same
coming
plan.
from. We were like, it looked like literally a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
I started that
All
shit.
And
for
then once we
PlayStation
get
2.
there,
No, I started that shit. Yeah.
There was around 200 people at the door waiting to get in, knowing only 20 people were getting in, but everyone still waited.
Yeah.
They wanted their
and I
chance.
think some people got in, but they got escorted out and everything. But it was still funny because they were organized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Brandon fucked it up.
I love it. This is why I like seeing the world burn, man. There's a part of me that likes to flip the table on order. But it was definitely one of the highlights of my young
You introduced
career.
chaos.
I introduced chaos.
It wasn't unfair because it wasn't the official Sony line.
Exactly.
Sony didn't hand out. These people just agreed to a civilized system.
Yeah.
And Brandon, not part of the tribe, just decides to come on in
yeah,
there.
because how I explained it, Gabe, was that we went to the front of the line, and this dude represented the man to me, and it's like, hey, we got a well-established system. If you want, one. Just stand in the back, and it's like, oh, how many people are on the list? It's like, oh, we have 25. You'll be 26. He's like, how many PlayStations are there? There's 22. He's like, I'm not getting a PlayStation with your thing. Why would I stand in line?
Yeah.
And then I talked to you guys like, hey, there's not an official line. I think we can start our own line. That'll be better and bigger. But that started and I remember that guy. I remember that the unofficial leader. Like before we were about to run in, right? He left for for an hour, right? And I was like, oh, he gave up. That dude gave us he gave me a stare, right? And then right before the thing was about to start, I saw him coming back. I don't know if I told you. I saw him coming back with a bike. So he just folded into my chaos that I created. Oh, it felt so good. It was 300 people, and people were there with tracksuits and shit. Remember that? People were in their cross country shoes and cross country representing their schools, and it became just a challenge.
This is the best.
It wasn't even about.
This is the best Sony
anymore.
commercial of all time.
Yeah,
I still love this story because I could totally don't even know the guy, but I could see his breakdown of no, this is what we're doing. Yeah. And then when you guys start your new line as the dissenters, all the people who believed in the system now see you guys doing this. So I know there had to be heat,
dude. I love it. We stood in line for 7 hours, and dude. Am I exaggerating? When we finally ran, there were cars crashing. People were coming out of bushes. The ones that in front of us, that dude who was on rollerblades and he tripped and ate it, right? Am I exaggerating when we saw all this happen within minutes, right? See? So I got proof here. I remember hurdling over this guy. I was like, oh shit. He looks really hurt, and I jumped over him. Like an Olympic runner.
Dude, I'm mad that there's a guy who thought he was going to be on rollerblades.
Dude, he ate it hard, man. He was rollerblading, thinking he was hot shit because he got wheels. Because we went old school. We weren't running. Everybody had bikes and cars. We just ran. And he completely tripped, and he rolled forever, I felt. And then I remember seeing that. I was like, oh, man, he looks really hurt. And then I hurdled over him and continued.
This story never gets old, man.
It's my favorite.
I've heard it so many times. And I still enjoy it every time I hear it. It's such a good story.
Definitely my taste of chaos. And I think I've always had that inside me where I hated authority. It is a real problem. Obviously, you're going to have to work for people. But I feel like if you're my boss and we're for some reason not equal or treated as equal, I just have this fuck you mentality. I don't know where it comes from, but I've always had that. And when I think of that incident, I just see his face, elitist face, talking about order, trying to somehow sell me on this idea of you can be number 26, and there's a chance, and there's only 22 places. It's what are you talking about? Why would I stand 8 hours?
And this is why kids need to learn how to defend themselves. Because the system breaks down, and you're left with a primal response opportunity where it's well, the system broke. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
Believe in the system more? No,
that was before everyone was doing live streams. Otherwise, that would have been live streamed
dude.
I just wish I was there to see it. I don't need a PlayStation that bad, but God, I would have loved to have seen the last hour of that.
Out of 300 people, right? They memorized that day as being epic. Our group and that guy is the only one that knows the truth. That's what I think about. We're the only one that actually knew what happened, right? Because nobody knows the details of that story.
I bet you he's still telling the story.
Oh yeah, he's this motherfucking Asian guy. Just started his line across from me. I was trying to be cool. Go ahead, say it again.
I remember going up to Brandon and be like, I remember going up to you and being like, look what you did.
Well, here's a question actually I don't recall was, did anyone from your group actually get a PlayStation?
No. Not even close. Dude, there were zombies in the bushes all night, man. They were cheaters.
You increased your chances, but...
We increased our chances, but we played by the rules, which is stay behind, off campus, start when the buzzers start. Ugh. People were hiding behind the bushes and sleeping bags. Cars were circling in and out, and they had a false start, man. It was the Olympics. It would have been stopped and redone, but those guys went in way before we did.
That's hilarious. Let's Gabe, hop on in. You can see yourself on TV, right? Right, you gotta get close.
Yeah.
That's a fun selfie.
Oh, this is dope. This is gonna catch on, I promise.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our first episode. This will be available next week on YouTube. But thanks for all our live viewers out there.
Everyone on Twitch.
Everyone on Twitch. But thank you so much, Gabe. We're going to provide the links and everything to the video, to your gym, your Instagram, everything, so that everybody knows where to find you. All right?
All right, man.
Cool. You guys come to the gym, too.
I will.
I'll be down there. I'm the one that needs to get rid of the dad bods, so whatever you got to help me out, I'd appreciate.
All right, man. Peace out, dude.